would just kind of share my daily routine with the horses. I guess I thought it might be quite fun. Obviously the dogs think that I'm speaking to someone. Yes, little tinkers. And then I also thought I would give a little bit of a, for anybody who even might come across this vlog, looking at what it means to own a horse kind of thing, I thought I would give just some of the costs involved, like associated with owning a horse, and what you might look at when things kind of go wrong, which obviously is, it's like 20 degrees today. Arthur is so lazy and sleepy. I've just brought him in. Something's caught his eye. I've just brought him in to profile his back, because I'm going to go down the custom saddle route. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy this one. Obviously the list that I have kind of given, some of the examples that I've given, it's not exhaustive. Horse accessories are so expensive in general, and actual horse riding gear is even more expensive. So I think like a hat, for example, could set you back about £60 to £100 depending on what you want. They're probably even more expensive, if I'm honest. So yeah, the list is not exhaustive, but this is generally what I've experienced. Obviously vet's bills and shoeing for me being the most expensive, and saddles because I've been through quite a lot. So yeah, hopefully I enjoy it. expensive? Yes. Can they sometimes be very expensive? Yes. So I thought I would just break down what it kind of means when you decide to buy a horse, because I went into this quite green. So obviously you've got the initial outlay, where for some reason horse prices are through the roof at the minute. I'm just keeping an eye on myself. But then you've got then you have to think about livery, I guess. So this can range from between 200 to 400 depending if you want to do DIY or full livery. And then usually that includes hay, but if you've got them at home like us, obviously we don't pay livery, but with that is a mortgage. But then we have to think about our hay, right? So hay can range between £4 to £6 a small bale, or I think it's about £40 for a round bale. Because we've got 3 horses, we do go through hay quite quickly. And then if you're at home, you do have to think about looking after the fields. So as you come out of winter, as you saw, you do have to harrow and then roll. Otherwise you'll just have hey chips, you'll just have masses of big divots all over the place, and the horses probably wouldn't be able to walk. So then you'll have your flu jab fees, I guess. So this is an annual thing, and you're probably talking around £80 a horse, and the call out fees for the vets is normally quite much more expensive. And then you have dentist, obviously hoping everything's all right. And that can be about £80–90 a horse. Kind of depends if you have them sedated or not. We have ours sedated because I actually think the dentist can do a much more thorough job. I'm just checking where the horses are. Obviously you want tack, right? So a saddle can be anywhere from a few £100 to a few £1,000. Technically, well, it doesn't really matter how expensive something is. What's more important is the fit. But I've generally found that the newer type of saddles generally have the better technology. The horses are just literally hanging around me. They have the better technology, so the channels don't tend to be as narrow towards the back. So I would tend to stay away from old saddles, but that's just my preference. And then you have your shoeing, which again depends if you're barefoot. It will probably cost you about £30 or £40 every 4 or 5 weeks. Just got a horse's nose. It's Chippy. And then if you're just doing like normal shoes every 5 weeks, then it's going to cost you somewhere like £80. But then if you have hoof balance issues, which I think a lot of horses do have, and you're going down the remedial route, it can cost you up to around £200. It really can. But I just tend to think that prevention is so much better than the cure, because there are so many horses with arthritis and things like that, and I just think a lot of this can be avoided by proper tack, keeping the back strong by lunging, flat work, that kind of stuff, and looking after their feet, which I think is just going to be a matter of time before vets start to realise that the feet are actually a bigger issue than everything else. You may want to do physio, so this is generally, like, depends what you're doing, but it's generally at least every year, and this can set you back about £70. Obviously if you want to compete, this is going to be even more expensive, so I think hunter trials and things like that can cost, unaffiliated can cost around about £30 or £40 depending on what you want to do. If you want to affiliate in anything, that's even more expensive. I didn't really get to that the affiliation stage, so I don't fully know the figures, but I know they're expensive. And then obviously you have vet's bills, which if you want to look after your horse and make sure that they're happy and healthy, you are going to end up seeing vet's bills. And I think most people's problems tend to be arthritis, but like I say, I think these things can be avoided if horses take it a bit easy in their younger years, so 4 to 6 year old, and then you just make sure that the feet are healthy. There's Arthur. What a sweetie pie. But yeah, and then you've got your tack and your rugs. So your rugs, you're talking, can range anywhere from like 50 to 300 pounds, depending on how hard wearing you want your rugs to be. I think my rug that I bought when I first got Arthur was about 300 pounds, but I've still got it. So I've had him for nearly 5 years. So I've still got it, and it's still like new, and it's still waterproof. So yeah, but I just bought a lightweight rug that was £50 in the sale, and it seems really good quality. So, and then you've got all your other tack, so suppose your bridles, lunging gear, saddle pads. It just all does build up. I used to think that horses were as expensive as what you want to do. What are you doing? But actually, vet's bills really can rack up. I think insurance, I think when I got a quote it was about £150 a month, but I wanted to do loss of use, but I decided to just put money away instead, and that was really helpful. It takes the stress out of insurers, deadlines and things like that. You can take things a bit steadier, which is what I did. Okay, so I've done the morning horsey jobs, so now I've got to go and do some work, and then I'll come back and finish off later on. So catch you then. Okay, so obviously I forgot to add as well that diet is also really important, right? So obviously I buy supplements that I feed pretty much throughout the year, depending, they increase or decrease, I guess, depending on what we do or how Arthur is. But I am feeding him primarily for the, well, to support this PSSM, because I've had, like, obviously behavioural problems and things like that in the past, and doing a bit of research and providing these things does seem to have made him a happier horse. He's definitely a happier horse. But I'm also obviously feeding to think about the feet. So obviously I'm trying to remove sugars and things like that from the grass and from his hay, but by doing that I'm also restricting the amount of vital nutrients that he's getting, so I'm inputting those back into his feed. I did do some blood tests for some of the key nutrients that could potentially affect the feet, and everything came back fine. So what I'm doing is fine. I'm not a massive believer in just adding lots of stuff into your horse's feed and then hoping for the best. I do try and pick the best things, and I do try and be methodical on why I'm feeding him. But yeah, horses are expensive, and in my experience you cry more than you have fun. But do you know, there is something therapeutic about owning a horse and having your own horse. But yeah, in a nutshell, horses are expensive, especially if you want to ensure that they're happy, and if you're wanting to do more than just have light hacks. If you are wanting to compete, if you're wanting to jump and things like that, they're not built to do those kind of things, so you have to take care of them. So if you don't, you'll end up, well, I feel like I took care of my horse with the knowledge that I had, but since I've been doing lots of research and obviously had problems with Arth, yeah, I've realised just how little I actually know. But don't let it put you off. Obviously, I just think it's really important to know what you're getting yourself into with horses, and prevention is so much better. It's cheaper and it's easier than cure, because a lot of these things, arthritic changes and things like that, a lot of those you can't cure, you can just manage. So yeah, but don't let it put you off, because I absolutely love owning a horse, and I've cried so much, but I've also had lots of happy times and happy memories, especially with my husband and Jackson. So yeah, just take this video as a bit of just gaining a bit more understanding on what it means to own a horse, and just take it from there. Until the next one.